Hello and welcome back to my channel, friends. It's Belinda here from Visualized NZ. First up, I just want to apologise for any random noises that you might hear during the video. It's quite windy, a very wintry southerly blast is coming through. So there's a few wind noises happening. But apart from that, we're all good. So let's get into today's project. I am doing the latest Roxy's Weekly Challenge. And I am using digitals today from RachandBella Crafts. This is the Patchwork Pretties set of papers, and they are really pretty. They are pretty and they are patchwork style with this lovely faux stitching to connect all the pieces. Just really lovely. So let's have a wee look at the pages first. I've trimmed off 3 of the white edges. I've left 1 white edge because I think that's just going to give us a little bit more real estate to work with. So this is the next page. Hopefully you can see them well in the lighting that I've got. This one, they're just all sorts of pretty delightful, and I thought this would be a really good set of papers to use for this particular project. This one, there's 6 pages. I believe I printed them all. This one, and then the last one I haven't trimmed the white off because I've got 5 book pages that I'm going to use for today's project, and there's 6 papers, so I thought I'm not going to take time to trim this one down right now. So I'm going to put that one aside. Will we get 5 done? Probably not, but we can always aim for the top and yeah, see where we get to. So I've got these book pages. They are an illustrated encyclopedia type thing, or dictionary, one or the other, I don't know. It's a book, it's an old book. So I have also trimmed these down so that they're around about my typical journal page size. They're a little bit smaller, but I may need to further trim them or further trim the digitals. I don't know. We're just going to try. Now, in her video, Rachel from Roxy Creations did several variations. Each was wonderful. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm not going to try and replicate all her designs. I'm just going to let the spirit move me, shall we say. And I'm just going to do that springboard approach of whether it's exactly what Rachel made or not, I'm using the inspiration, and I'm sure that I will end up making some like she made, but I'm just gonna, wing it. Just gonna wing it. So book page is our base, that is our journal page, and then the project, in case you haven't seen it, is taking a digital and layering it up and turning it into pockets and things, so the whole thing becomes one single page but with various pockets, tuck spots, etc. So to start off, I'm going to fold this up, and it's going to be a pocket on the back, and I've left this white edge so that I can fold it under a little bit and reinforce the top of that pocket. So just leaving that white edge means I don't have to turn it under quite so much. That was my thinking. So just a nice little shallow pocket that goes right across, and it will go on this side. So what I need to do is fold it in half, lengthways. No, if I was folding it lengthways, I'd be folding it that way, wouldn't I? Well, you can see what I'm doing. Case of do as I'm doing, not do as I'm saying. Is that the opposite way to what we tell children, isn't it? Don't do as I do, do as I say. Well, I'm saying don't do as I say, do as I do. Or maybe do neither. Right, so I'm going to take this little piece out where it folds over the spine. I'm just going to take a wee V up to that fold line. Excuse me, a little bit froggy there. I'm probably going to get hungry before the end of this video because It's not long till lunchtime. Okay, so going to glue these down. I'm just going to glue with tacky glue just to save on mess and time and mucking around with glue pages and glue stick and the ensuing mess and stickiness. So I think this will need trimming down at the sides too, but I can probably do that once I've glued it onto the book page. So just gluing that reinforcing strip up. So let's check how we're going. So when this folds and is sewn into a signature, we're not going to get a funny bulky bit happening here. But we're not ready to glue it on yet. We need to turn this top one into pockets. So they're going to be a pocket with an angle. So fold those down because that won't matter. And they don't have to be exactly the same because they're going to be on opposite sides of the page, like so. Now I want these to be reinforced as well, but I'm going to take a little bit off just because I want some scraps, some pretty scraps. So we're going to end up with some fun triangles. You could leave them on, totally okay to leave them on. I think Rachel left them on, but I'm choosing to tear them off and just leaving this portion to reinforce the edge of the pocket. So glue those down. Go. So far so good. Okay, so it's gonna fold up on the inside, and on this side we will have this big pocket here, and then there'll be a big pocket on the other side as well, and then in the middle just these two little bottom pockets. I think they're really cool. So I need to now glue them down, glue them on. So just making sure that the two creases are together. I'm going to start with these pockets. So I do have a little overhang on the edge, which I'll need to trim off, and I'll do that later, or once I've glued it together. So just glue along that edge and this edge, making sure everything's sort of nicely aligned and straight. So I've made sure I brought my glue line in so that it sticks to the book page for when I trim off that overhang, so that I'm not trimming off my glue line, because that wouldn't be very helpful. Okay, now this edge and this edge. Again, bringing it in so that I'm not going to be trimming off the glue. Okay, two lovely pockets there. Flip it over. Now you don't need to glue down here, because when it's sewn into a signature, the stitching is going to hold it closed. So all I'm going to do here is just these short sides. Again, bringing it in from the edge since I need to do a trim up. Do I want to glue? I think I will just put glue on one side of that crease line, just because it's going to be a while before it's sewn into a signature, and that will just kind of keep things in place while it's hanging out in my stash. Okay, So that's the first one. Now I can come in and just trim up these little overhangs. That one and this one. Super pretty. Don't you think that's just a really lovely choice of paper to do this project with? I think it is just perfect because I don't really need to worry about which way's up. So these parts that are folded, yes, they're upside down, but they're not like in your face upside down. Like they still look really lovely upside down. So that's the first one, and because I put that glue down that one side of the spine, folding it in half while it's the glue still wet is it works absolutely fine. So that's one. Okay, let's grab another one and let's see what else we can do, how we can vary it. Just have a play around. Okay, so this time I might do the inside as the pockets and then the shallow pockets on the outside or something. And I'm thinking about offsetting it like something like that. Is that going to work? Let me have it might be a little bit more complex than some of the others, so let's try it. So fold up the bottom first, and then create our little reinforced top. You can choose to glue paper on the back to reinforce it instead if you don't want to make your piece of paper too small, which I often will do. So I'm going to work it this way. So I want to fold about there. So I'm not folding it in half. Can you see that? It's maybe a third or something of the sort. Not being precise here. Okay, so let's take out this little V. I'm totally making this up. Okay, now I wanted that on the inside, so I need to actually fold that back the other way. I need it this way. So it's going to sit in that on the inside. So that's going to be a wee pocket, just a short wee pocket, maybe even a tuck spot. But it would work fine just as a small pocket. Doesn't need to go all the way across, so you could glue it both here and here and have it as a pocket, or just glue it here and leave it as a tuck spot. I think I would probably have it as a pocket. It's pretty. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Love it. Okay, now this side we've got extra things happening. So what I am thinking is we could just trim it off and leave it as a pocket, but I'm thinking about using it. So I'm going to fold in here along the edge of the page, and trim out this corner, I think. Take that bulk out. Another fun scrap. Do we need to take more out? which way round do we want it. So I think I'll also fold this edge under a little bit to reinforce it. Just going to take off a little mitre from that fold under just so it doesn't show, because it's looking like it's going to show. Just trying to work out whether I want it over the top or underneath the side bit. So that's going to be like a corner tuck. Thinking actually I also, because we've got an angle here, that I would like an angle here, so I'm going to create that. Just to give a bit of balance, I guess, or symmetry. You couldn't call it symmetrical, but see, that just replicates that angle a little bit, makes it a little bit more interesting. Just wondering whether we need to take some of this corner out. Maybe we'll take a little bit out, not all of it, because we need something to glue it together. Just a section. Cool. Okay, I think I've got a handle on it. Let's glue all these flaps down. Hopefully you can follow what I'm doing, because I am just making it up totally as I go along. I just thought, what happens if we offset it instead of doing it half and half? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to do it, to try it. And at the end of the day, it's only paper. It's pretty paper. It's old paper, you know, old book page. But if it goes wrong, it is only paper. Right, I'm not going to glue those together yet, just in case I need to adjust once it's back on the book page. Right, so I've still got to decide what I'm going to do at the top. So I'm not ready to glue down yet. So we've got this area here. So that's going on the inside. Let's wrap it around again. Like so. So we know what's happening there. Now what's going to happen here? Because we've got this flat area here. This could easily be a corner pocket. So let's do that. Take it in a wee bit further, I think, like so. Again, I'm going to tear off a bit of that triangle just so I've got a yummy scrap to work with. And glue that down. Oh, yep, I'm getting hungry. I predicted it, didn't I? What's the time? It is 5 to 12. So it is like 5 minutes to lunchtime. I'm sure Puss will be in meowing very soon saying, I'm starving, you haven't fed me since breakfast. Because, you know, that's just how he rolls. Every time you go in the kitchen, he's there. It's like, oh, it was only 5 minutes since I was fed, I'm starving. Oh, there's still food in my dish, but I'm starving. Because you haven't put anything fresh down since the last time I asked. He's a funny boy. Okay, so that's a lovely corner pocket there on the inside corner, which is different because often I put them on this side. So it's quite nice to have one kind of in the middle. Now here, what am I going to do here? I could leave it as a really nice tall pocket, which I think I will do because these can be decorated up. I'm not going to worry about decorating them up today. But yeah, labels or a focal image or something. But instead of cutting this down or folding it down, because that's going to, I mean, we could fold that as well. That would be fine. But I'm going to actually glue a piece of paper on instead. Because I I like the depth of that pocket. I think it's a nice deep pocket. So I'm not going to take that strip all the way to the spine. I might glue stick this on actually. So let's grab out my glue pages. Oh, sometimes I find it very difficult to get the lids off glue sticks. It's like they glue themselves on. It's probably because I get glue on the outside of the plastic with alarming regularity. Okay. Oh, I'm sure that's the first time I've used that glue page this morning, and yet I've got glue all over the back of that bit of strip of paper. It's like, ugh. I have to let that dry, otherwise it's going to glue our pocket shut. Can I give it a little wipe down maybe? Did I take my calcium this morning? Yes, I did. Sometimes it's just habit, and it's like, have I? And then other times I think I have and I haven't. Even though I set an alarm, sometimes when the alarm goes off, I'm not in a position to take it straight away. And then before you know it, I'm heading to take the next one, and it's like, oops, I didn't take the previous one. Which then throws out my whole day, and often end up not taking all 3 doses. Any wonder that my fingernails have issues? Right, so let's reconstruct this all again. Make sure everything's how we want it. So this one, I'm just going to run a bit of glue down this edge. There we go, that's that one. Now this one, don't necessarily need to glue it, but I am going to glue it along this edge up to about there. Okay, and it's just more or less to hold everything in place while I'm doing this process, so it doesn't move around the same on me as if I just left it to its own devices. Okay, let's do this short one first. This short wee pocket, and I am going to turn it into a pocket. That one. Then this one's going to go down first. Now I'm not going to put glue along this edge because that's going to stop anything going in right into that corner. So I'm only going to glue this one along this edge. And then this one, I'm going to put liner glue along this edge and along the bottom, and then just that wee section where it overlaps with this piece, because we want the rest of it to be open. Okay, I think that's going to be quite cool. That's a bit different. I need something bigger than that. Hello. We have something I can use. Is that too big? Yep, too big. Oh, this will do. Just a scrap of scrapbook paper. So that's a nice big piece there. And then there's a little pocket here. And then flip it over here, and we have a, that might be too wide. So we've got a pocket here, and then a nice big tall pocket over here. And it's not glued shut, so that's good. So happy with that variation. That's quite fun. A few different styles on the one piece. So we've actually got 4 different pocket arrangements or tuck arrangements. We've got this one, then we've got this one, and this one. So 4 different ones on the single signature page. That is fun. How are we going on time? Oh, we're doing okay. So let's grab out this one. I have no idea where I'm going to from here. Whether I'll repeat or just, yeah, I don't know. It's just a few little crusty bits of glue from where I tore it out of the book, removed it from the book. So I just want to get rid of those lumpy bits. They're quite sharp actually, because they're hard little bits of glue. Another one there. There, that's better. Feels much nicer. Okay, next one. What am I going to do with this one? What will happen if we just fold it lengthways? Did I? No, I didn't need to trim the sides on the other one because I wrapped it around, didn't I? So let's fold this one in half. Lengthways this time, the long side. Okay, this white bit with the white edge, let's fold that under. And that's not straight. Not at all, but it's going to be wrapped around a page, so does it really matter? Probably not, but let's see if we can kind of make it a little straighter. Paper does a weird thing when you fold a small section like this, and it kind of warps, and like you would swear you're doing it straight, but it usually isn't. Yeah, see, it just doesn't want to fold straight. It wants to warp and get narrower as we go along. Right, is that any better? Yeah, kind of. Okay. Right, I think I'm just going to do in half. Directly in half again. So we've folded it in half lengthways, and then I folded down where I left the white on. Then we folded it in half the other way. Now I probably want to, just thinking, what do I want to do here? Do I want to do angle pockets? Just a shallow angle pocket? Why not? Let's do something like taking it close, about 1/2 centimetre from the spine, and just doing a really oblique angle instead of a right angle. Let's do the same on the other side. Like so. Now I'm not going to bother trimming these off, because by the time I leave a bit for reinforcing, there's going to be not much real estate left. So I'm just going to glue these down as they are. And the other side. I just think there's such a magical thing that happens when you take a piece of paper and start experimenting and think, well, what if it happens if I fold it here or cut it there, or, you know, you just start playing, and it's amazing the amount of options that you have just with a single plain piece of paper, or in this case 2 bits of paper joined together by the time we add the book page. Right, so this one is a nice deep pocket, and I'm going to take out a V again. Well, it's kind of a V. Okay, let's glue these flaps down. Yep, Puss has come in, but he's currently eating from what was left in his dish from breakfast, so I'm sure as soon as I get up to make my lunch he will be like, I need feeding. It's amazing how cats know what time it is. It's food time. I always get food at this time of the day. Ow! Feed me, feed me. It's funny, yesterday I had a bagel for lunch with smoked salmon dip on it, and I had prepared, I was partway through making a quiche when hubby got home from work, and he brought home with him cream cheese and smoked salmon, and he had forgotten that I had leftover bagel and smoked salmon to eat for lunch. So guess what I had twice yesterday? Salmon and bagel. I was not upset because salmon is my favourite food, but it's like, yeah, twice in one day. And guess what's for lunch today? Because again, I have leftovers. So that's my lunch again today. Such a treat though, because salmon is so expensive that we very rarely have it. So to have it so regularly over the course of, when did we last have it? Friday night. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We didn't have any on Saturday. But out of those days, I've had salmon every day. Like, that's really unheard of. Very unusual. Okay, so we've got a lovely slanted pocket there, and a lovely slanted pocket there, and then some deeper pockets in here. So let's glue these down, and because I have an overhang, just trying to make sure everything's lined up properly. Oops, something's funky. What's going on here? That's okay. As I was saying, because I've got the overhang, I need to be careful where I put my glue. So we're going to go up here on the, leaving that overhang ready to cut off. And there. Oops, how to get glue all over your hand. And then this one. So pretty. And I chose these papers because I think they will, one, because they won't look awful upside down, but two, that they will go in pretty much any journal, any style journal they would be happily at home in. Right, so I'm going to put some glue up one side of the spine again on this one, just to kind of help hold it in place, and coming in from the side again. Sweet, so we've got a different one again. So that's 3 different so far. Just eyeballing where to cut. Hopefully it's okay. Seems to be. And this side, I mean, you could leave those and turn them into tabs if you had room inside your journal, and if you had enough overhang. I think that's probably a little bit little to turn into a tab, but you could. Okay, so 2 pockets here and 2 slanty pockets here, and beautiful paper. Like, all it really needs is like maybe a little flower or butterfly or something. Be super pretty. So number 3, how are we going on time? My tummy's going, I need feeding. Don't worry about puss, I need feeding. That's what my tummy's telling me. Okay, maybe we'll do one more. It's got a little bit of paper stuck to it. Let's see if there's any funky clumps of hard glue on this one. Doesn't appear to be. Oh, maybe on this side there is. Although it's not too much of an issue because it will be sewn into the signature, and you won't be, you know, your hands won't be running over those areas anyway. It's not too bad. Okay, what's number 4 going to look like? Your guess is as good as mine. Do I want to offset again and do something, see if I can come up with something different? Just thinking, how am I going to do this? Going to trim off this white on this one. In fact, what I should have done, it's not too late, but it's too late to make use of that excess paper, is use some fancy scissors to cut along there instead. Use these ones, I think, scallop. Now, which way round is it going to cut? That way? Do I want it that way? Doesn't matter. I'll just go with that. It's going to be up the other way anyway, so I'm just going to eyeball and trim off the edge. Serious business, this. Can you feel the concentration? I can. Okay, I did not get that straight, but that's okay. It's fine. Okay, now I'm going to fold that up just a little bit. Just that wee bit there. Now, do I want that on the inside or the outside? I think on the inside. And this time I'm not going to take a V out the middle, because this is just going to be a page border along the bottom of the page. Just decorative. I'm wondering whether I want to put writing paper underneath. No, it's going to bulk it out. So I'm just going to glue that down, and then I can glue in writing paper here and here over top. And it will just, this side will just have a decorative edge. Now, do I want to glue it down now, or do I want to wait? I might pay to wait, mightn't it, until we've finished what we're doing. So let's fold it in half. Okay, so what do we want to do pocket wise? Well, that's an idea. Why don't we do that? It's definitely different. Okay, that's a complete mystery to you at the moment, but so I'm going to basically find the center point of that half. It's there. And we're going to, on that center line, which is about there, going to go down, I don't know, that far, just arbitrary amount. I'm going to take these and I'm going to fold them back into hopefully about even sort of bits. So like a shirt collar kind of thing. And glue those down. Again, that's not worth taking a piece off them because they'll just be too tiny a scrap. If I did, just leave the whole thing on. It's just not sticking at that bottom edge. Put a little bit more glue under there. And then squeeze it all out. You know, that's how it goes. Okay. So, putting it back on the book page. Keep putting it on so I can visualize how we're going. And then take it off so I can actually work on the piece. So it's probably not going to be center because I do actually have to trim off that edge, but never mind, it'll be fine. It still looks cute. And there's a lovely big pocket there. Won't be quite as big as this page by the time it's glued on, but lovely big pocket there. And over here, I don't think I want to do the same thing as the other side. I think I want it different. Shall we just do an angle pocket? Yep, let's just do an angle pocket on this side. So fairly big one. So I will take off some of this triangle because that's a nice scrap. So our pockets are bigger because we've only put a little trim on the other side of the page instead of pockets or tucks. But still having a wrap around, even if it's only decorative. Just something a little different. Okay, so I think we can glue on now once we just made sure we're all lined up where we want to be. Okay, so I'll do half at a time just to make my life a little easier. I'm not going to go into all the points of the scallop. Don't think it's really necessary. Just okay, there. And I do love these nibs on the glue bottles, whatever you want to call them, nozzles. Just so good for getting into tight gaps. Need a bit of glue under the edge of something because it's not glued down. You just go in with your tiny little glue nozzle. Perfect. Okay, so here I have managed to get a bit of glue on this side, but not in the right place. So we'll just peel that up and glue there. And again, I think I'm just going to go up on the side of the spine. Oops, very wiggly. And down this edge, coming in a little bit because I've got to trim off the edge. There we go. Okay, let's trim the sides down on this one. Make it nice and neat. This one's quite a long edge to cut. And it all folds nicely. Okay, so out of the 5 that I had prepared, we've got one book page left and one digital page that I trimmed up left, but we got 4 done. Not decorated obviously, but the bases are done, and probably leave the decoration for when they go in a journal, so I can grab out bits from whatever kit I'm using to decorate them with. So let's refresh. We've got this one with the angle pocket here, 2 bottom pockets, and then an angle pocket on the back. We've got this one with a slant pocket on the front, 2 deeper pockets in the middle, and then a slant pocket on that side. Then we've got this one with 4 different styles of pockets or tuck spots. So this one in the corner, then a nice big deep pocket here, a smaller narrower pocket there with a slant or an angle, and then this little tiny pocket down the bottom there. And then this last one we did with the V pocket here, which I think is just a, you know, an extra little bit of fun. A decorative trim rather than pockets on the inside. So just some, either another pocket or something glued on top, or if, you know, any sort of ephemera, or covered in coffee dyed paper for writing space. And then a nice big slant pocket there. So each one is individual, different. What do you think? I had so much fun just playing with the paper and seeing what I could do. I hope you give it a go. Just grab your paper, your supplies, do some folds and work it out as you go along. You don't have to make the same as I did or the same as Rachel did. Just take the inspiration and see where it takes you. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a great afternoon or whatever time of day you are in at right now. And I will catch you tomorrow for another video. I'll see you then. Bye friends.